Well, in addition to all of the plastics that wash
and welcome everyone, we have returned. Let's start case number 14 of the conspiracy.
All of this storm debris. This is the remnants. This is
Byte, the dust.
From that flash flooding we experienced on Friday. And as you can see, they're going to need a lot of volunteers. Standing here with Matthew Picaro from Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii, which is organizing this massive Earth Day
Hey Matthew, sorry I haven't finished my coffee yet. Between Zoe in the hospital and Tony Marconi popping up, I've hardly slept in days. At least Zoe's doing better. She still doesn't remember me or what happened to her, but she's starting to sound like... I'm still convinced Marconi had something to do with her disappearance. There must be a reason why he's the only person she remembers. We knew he had some mysterious business in the greens, and learning that it's a security company only makes him more suspicious, if you ask me. Now, Jones, you've been under a lot of stress. Are you sure you're not projecting all this towards an obsessive suspicion of Marconi? I'm positive, so we've got nothing on him, and he looks completely clean. But I know Marconi. Something's definitely off. Matthew, the Greens precinct just called. Someone's been murdered in Bronson Lane. A murder? Well, throwing someone behind bars is just what I feel like doing right now. Matthew, you better get down to Bronson Lane. I'll drive. You sure about that, Jones?
More information posted on our website, KITV.com. In Waimanalo, Mackenzie staff.
Meet a lot of people.
Windy too.
Alright, the stories and the images keep coming in.
Still ahead, nightly news at 10. Despite the wicked weather, residents of Hawaii tell us why their spirits aren't completely floated up.
Spectrum is doubling its internet speed to 200 megabits, and it's the same great price. What, I need to get off the internet?
No, we're dominating.
I don't care, because between you and the teenage face trap,
Hey, I got myself 12 cents.
Internet from the phone company.
Just get off the internet. Tell them to get off too.
You can't, I'm the cool dad.
What does that make me?
They call you that. Slow internet is evil.
Really?
Spectrum is crazy fast.
Ooh.
Internet bad. Spectrum good. We all know that place. A pizza joint that used to be a massage clinic. That used to be a florist.
A flyer stand.
And a nail salon. Was it the location? Or did they not know how to market their businesses?
Umbrella and gramophone, 6 seconds. Got the first star.
See locations at the UPSstore.com.
Aloha. I'm Dave Lyson, General Manager.
I gotta make sure I get to 9400 so I can go up to 456.
Chevy dealer for the second year in a row. We've remodeled our showroom, our service and parts department, plus brought J.M. Rentals on property.
That's one gruesome murder, Matthew. No wonder everybody's fled the scene. At least you can work in peace. Wait, that's Ash Bison, the former leader of the Viper Street Gang. I hardly recognize him. Remember those days, Matthew, when the gangs ran the industrial center? But that was years ago. We've not heard a peep from Ash since. Ah, detective. I'm Officer Cooper from the Greens Precinct. Officer Cooper, I'm Detective Jones, and this is Senior Trooper Matthew. Were you the one who reported the murder? Affirmative. I proceeded to the scene and sealed it off immediately. Nice work, Officer Cooper. We'll speak with you shortly. Meanwhile, what have you found, Matthew? It looks like Ash dropped something. Let's piece that broken glass together and see what it is. And you think we should search for that advertising material? Good thinking. It might help us get a better feel for the area. We've got our work cut out for us, Matthew. Ash Bison returns, this time a victim of murder. I hope this isn't the start of another gang war. Another coins, okay.
You're watching Island News at 10 with Robert K. Gall, Paula Akari, weather with Pete Kachana, and sports with Brett Hayden.
Just because I want to, I am going to see what Officer Cooper has to say. Alright, Senior Trooper Matthew, here's my report. The victim's name is Ash Bison, a nasty character who caused a lot of trouble when he ran the Vipers gang. We're familiar with Mr. Bison's record, Officer Cooper. Is there anything you can tell us about the murder? Not much. I rushed to the scene as soon as I heard screaming, but when I arrived, everyone had dispersed. The killer must have sliced the victim and slipped away without a trace. This neighborhood isn't what it used to be, Senior Trooper Matthew. Life was tough back when it was the industrial center, but at least it made sense. But then those so-called hipster people moved in, and it's like the whole world's been turned upside down. Keeping the streets safe from hoodlums, I understand. Keeping the streets safe from hoodlums, I understand. But farmers markets, quinoa, and barbershops are all a mystery to me. We appreciate you keeping an eye out, Officer Cooper. Keep in touch if there's anything else you can think of.
And let me tell you, it's pretty quiet out here at the moment. Some rain's coming off and on, but people dealing with that flooding relatively well, as Alley News reporter Moana tomorrow found out.
And we're gonna hold here while I get some more stars. Okay, I got myself 11 stars, so why don't I get the fire stand first? I have a feeling that's probably not going to unlock this crime scene, but we'll see.
30% more space. Home silhouette briefs feature a comfortable, sleek fit.
As a dancer, I learned you can't have any jobs, because looking good on stage is
There they are. A bloody razor.
Get a grip on at Dependence.com.
The last thing I expected to find in that fire stand was a blood-stained razor, Matthew. I'd bet a month's salary it's the murder weapon. Let's get this razor to Rupert on the double.
24 hours of relief. Get back to the moment with the light.
I was right, that didn't unlock the next crime scene, but I know this one.
Low tracking litter designed to stay off the floor.
But I know this broken glass will.
Let's make litter less of a mess. Let's start fresh.
As the host of Access Health, I've discovered Low-Free Ultra's clinically proven ingredient gives you better mobility, flexibility, and comfort than glucose control in one tiny pill. Also in the new gummies.
Just 8 years ago.
8.
You know what they say? Every one of us.
There's something very familiar about the logo on that beer bottle. On that beer bottle, Ash dropped, Matthew. Skull's Microbrewery. Oh, you're right. We're standing in front of the place. I get lost in a paper bag, Matthew. If the victim ordered a drink from the microbrewery, we should definitely look around inside.
You're never gonna get bored so separating. Why didn't you tell me? Why train when he was dead?
Listen, Jessica. Let me give you one friendly advice. Now, maybe this whole thing is just a lot of sweat about nothing. But if it isn't, it could be hazardous to your health.
Boss and John were two of the closest friends that Frank and I had. But if they're in some kind of trouble, I can't just turn a blind eye.
Well, what can you do? I mean, the guy told you in no uncertain terms to get lost.
Oh, I think I see a clue.
No. It could be that this guy has some kind of water with car.
Yes, that's right. Sorry, who's the
The Red Sox still play at Fenway?
Good. And those are
Here we go.
Maybe John could probably help.
Snake pendant.
Thank you.
Hi, Howard. How's your new computer? You got the bugs worked out? Boom.
This is a nice place, Matthew. I love a cold drink, but the beers here are strange. Does this say mango and hibiscus lager? You're right, we have work to do, like this framed photograph of the victim you found. Apparently he was a regular customer. Let's run a search for his friend here. Maybe he can tell us something about the victim.
Don't get yourself into an uproar. Remember what your doctor said.
And that pendant with 2 snakes on it, you think that the victim, you think that was the victim. Ash was the leader of the Vipers after all. That's just that engraving.
This is an 8th base. You haven't got the guts to punch a time clock without 2 guys to back you up.
Now you got a big mouth.
One of these nights, I'm gonna catch you with your nose someplace that don't belong, and we're gonna find out just how good your medical coverage is. This place is so off limits to civilians.
Now let's get this engraving out of the way.
Sir, I told you.
Ash and Joy forever. All of a sudden I feel like I'm on Pokemon with those 2 names.
Silly. Please, come here.
There we go, finally.
I don't believe you've met my brother Adam. Don't let him put some just
The engraving on the back of that pendant says Ash and Joy forever. So this did belong to our victim. But who's this Joy? I've got it, Matthew. Ash's friend net profile says he's in a relationship with a Joy Schneider. I never have pegged Ash as a relationship type. Nevertheless, we had better go talk to Joy Schneider.
Nothing has been done.
coronary thrombosis. Is that what the postmortem showed?
You've been under my care for several months. Postmortem was unnecessary. I make only logical diagnosis.
Naturally, as the
Excuse us, Miss Schneider. Senior Trooper Matthew and I are from the Grimsboro Police Department. We need to speak to you about your partner, Ash. Oh dear, is he in some sort of trouble, detectives? I'm afraid you have bad news. Ash has been murdered. Murdered? Ash is dead? Oh my god, how did this happen? We'd hoped you could help us with that. We found his pendant at the Skulls microbrewery, not far from where he was killed. Were you with him today by any chance? No, I kissed Ash goodbye at breakfast this morning. I can't believe that was the last time I'll ever see him. You have our condolences, Miss Schneider. We're sorry for your loss. How will I go on without my darling Ash?
Go away, please.
I really must ask you to leave.
But would you have an objection? For one thing, there's the matter of a cold.
Name of the unknown
And
man.
the other thing is, somebody's body was cremated last week and it wasn't found.
Feel free to discuss this matter with the truth. Have a good day. And I would appreciate it if you didn't call again.
There we go. Troy Cassidy. I can't believe what I'm seeing, Matthew. The guy in this photo is Troy Cassidy. You remember Troy, don't you? He was the leader of the Skulls gang. That's why the beer logo was familiar. The Viper and the Skulls used to be a menace, and Ash Bison and Troy Cassidy were bitter enemies. But according to the database, Troy's now running a microbrewery, and he and Ash were friends. What's going on, Matthew? The only one who can answer these questions is Troy Cassidy. Let's head back to the microbrewery.
Don't worry behind you. Liberty stands with you. Liberty stands.
What he knows about the victim? Well, if it isn't Senior Trooper Matthew, how long has it been? I'll pour you a pomegranate pale ale on the house. We're on duty, Cassidy. We'd like to ask you about the murder that took place out front. What? Murder? Is that what all the commotion was about? So this is all news to you? Ash Bison, your biggest rival, is murdered on your doorstep, but you know nothing about it? Ash was the one who was killed? Oh man, he just ordered a drink half an hour ago. You'll probably find this hard to believe, Senior Trooper Matthew, but Ash and I had moved on from our criminal past. Strangely enough, we actually became good friends.
America's #1 detergent.
So you expect us to believe that you've turned over a new leaf? Yes, quite literally. I settled down to learn how to brew beer. I invented a new strain of green tea infused yeast. Are you sure you won't have a drink? Another time, Cassidy. Just be sure to stay close. We've got our eyes on you. And I'll see you guys when these two are done. Well, folks, it's me again, and we're now going to get the results of the autopsy from Ash Bison. Matthew, there's an English expression, spill your guts, non. Your victim seemed to have taken it literally. Please, Martine, I just ate. Sorry, Jones, I forgot about your weak stomach. In any case, your killer wasted no time getting the job done. The fatal incision is precise and deep, severing a number of vital arteries. The victim would have died in minutes. That's great, Matthew. If Ash's killer was gone in a flash, how will we possibly find them? Well, the killer was swift, but sloppy. I found a splash of brown liquid on the victim's shirt, near the wound, a combination of caffeine and turmeric. Which may sound strange, but they're the main ingredients of a popular beverage in the Greens, turmeric spice latte. The victim only ingested alcohol before he died, meaning the turmeric spice latte was spilled by the killer. This clue is grounds for celebration, Matthew. We're looking for a killer who drinks turmeric spice latte. And the bloody razor. A travesty, Matthew. Using a magnificent instrument like this to take the life of another. So you determine this razor is a murder weapon, Rupert? Indeed. These blood spatters are a match for the victim. But the implement itself is marvelous. An authentic Jeanette. I had one of these when I was a lad. Which is fascinating. But what does it have to do with our investigation? We're getting there. We're getting to that. While admiring the razor's craftsmanship, Rupert noticed a stain on the handle. Upon closer analysis, we determined it's a mixture of diphenhydramine and melatonin. These are the common ingredients of sleeping medication, the kind prescribed for insomnia. Now, given that this razor belonged to the killer, it's obvious that the killer's an insomniac. You know what they say, Matthew? There's no rest for the wicked.
Created a device that helps people suffering from allergies in a jiffy. People can actually wear it on their body and it'll deliver medication for instant relief with almost no pain. This could work for young kids or service members in combat.
I don't know what to make of Ash Bison's murder, Matthew. On the one hand, Officer Cooper says the industrial center is a quiet, tranquil neighborhood since it was redeveloped into the Greens. And Troy Cassidy, the former Skulls leader, claims he and Ash had turned over a new leaf and were close friends. But here we are with Ash murdered on the doorstep of his old rival. It all seems too coincidental to me, Matthew. Sorry to interrupt, Jones, but you'll want to hear this. Carter has something he'd like to tell you about Ash Bison.
Just the whole concept of being able to help people. That's what really drives Shelby.
And we'll see what that is when we get to Chapter 2. And we're back now. Let's get to Chapter 2 of Byte, the Dust.
On the floor of the Pineapple Cannon. That's why I've strongly supported the program that allows high schoolers to earn college credits.
Well, Senior Trooper Matthew, I overheard Mom talking about Ash Bison, how he was dead, and it kind of got me bummed out. Bummed out? Why? You can't have known Ash. Of course I did. Ash is the main character in Double Vipers, the arcade game. What? Ash is in a video game? Yeah, you get to play as Ash and his gang members, fighting your way across the city. I play it all the time at the arcade. Yeah, about that. We need to talk about the kind of games you're playing, Carter. Ash in a video game? Everything really has turned upside down. Matthew, let's get down to the arcade and check this out.
Big sale today.
Welcome back. Well, looks like the greatest rain chance before
schools, Maui County and the Big Isles. This system is a little bit weaker than it was over the weekend. The same system that brought the heavy rainfall and started flooding. So that's the good news. We are seeing some indications of a weaker system, but still, as we head into tonight, we'll have a flood threat. Best chance again, Maui County and into the Big Island. Rainfall rates offshore coming in at about a little bit more than a tenth of an inch per hour. We'll see these rainfall rates start to increase as this moisture lifts off and Maui County. So no thunderstorms yet, but certainly some we've got this rainfall moving your way. It looks like this is going to impact the windward and south shore, but anyway, about to see some rainfall. So this is going to be quick moving. We'll go ahead and track it for you. Anyway, should take by about 7 on it right there, but again,
broken figurine.
So far, flash flood watch in effect until 6 p.m. tomorrow tonight. Rainfall intensity will increase, but again, it looks like the focus.
Double Viper's bandana.
Tomorrow, scattered showers in the morning, and then sun in the afternoon for most spots. Big Island still could have a leftover shower in the afternoon, 83 degrees. The same forecast, we start to dry out late tomorrow into the weekend, and looking better for next week. Brandy.
Thanks, Pete.
There we go.
High schools have the opportunity to play in OA or ILH sport. That's the University of schools to give students with disabilities and those who are at risk a chance to feel it's like the school's basketball team. A project called Friday Night Lights is now in its third year. Organizers secure practice times, buses to the game sites, referees, and a scorekeeping staff. And it's already pretty popular amongst the student body.
Carter was right, Matthew. There's the Double Vipers machine. The logo has been adapted from the Vipers symbol and colors. I don't get it. Why would Ash have anything to do with the video game? You're right. Maybe that bandana could tell us more. It looks like merchandise for the game. The label on the back is barely legible, though. And that toy's been broken for some reason. Let's put it back together to figure out what it is. Matthew, this is getting more confusing by the minute, but hey, maybe we'll find something cool for Carter in that prize bid.
Keep on me. Check. In a few weeks, 7 students from Online Community Microsoft Office 2-year protection plan and more.
Okay.
$599.99. Office Depot, Office Max.
Got a few stars, so now we're gonna get the prize bin out of the way first. Ah! Ticket strip. Is that blood on that strip of tickets you found among those prizes, Matthew? We shouldn't take any chances. Let's send them to the lab.
And we covered it. Dr. Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
12 hours. And let's get the bandana labeled now. Okay.
Stand in the way of enjoying the moment. Break through with a leg, the fastest non-drowsy attitude. In just 1 hour.
Caitlin F? Yep, Caitlin F.
Private business means I can't waste time, especially on the highway.
This bandana belongs to a certain Caitlin F, Matthew. Caitlin Flynn. I guess you better speak with this Caitlin. She must be around here somewhere.
Like 5 years experience, all saving me time that I get to put back into running my business. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Learn how screener questions can save you time when you post your job on Indeed. Maybe that secret agent.
Let's see what Caitlin Flynn has to say. Excuse us, Miss Flynn. We found your bandana and wanted to ask you about... the bandanas. We're supposed to wear those silly things to promote Double Vipers, but I wouldn't be caught dead wearing that. We're curious about that game, actually. Ash Byte said one of the game's characters has been murdered. A video game character's been murdered? Are you the joke police or something? No, Ash Bison is a former hoodlum who's now apparently a character in Double Vipers. Look, I don't know anything about Double Vipers, except that it's the most popular machine in here, which keeps my boss happy. Apart from that, I just work here. Babysitting a bunch of kids at the arcade isn't my career. I'm saving for college. Now, if that's everything, I gotta get back to work. Someone's jammed chewing gum into the magical ride machine.
On December 11, 1990, 30-year-old Craig Piper was driving his tractor-trailer south on Interstate 75 on his way to visit his mother for the holidays.
And
when he entered the thick, dense fog, visibility was near zero.
Might be a bobblehead or something. That's one of those funky figurines, Matthew. They're super popular right now. And judging from the shirt, this one's a character from the game Double Vipers. That big bubbly face is familiar. Where have I seen it before? Wait, that's no character. That's a figurine of Big Baby. You remember him, Matthew. He was in the Vipers with our victim. Ash can't tell us anything about this game, but maybe Big Baby can. Let's go get reacquainted, Matthew.
She said that killed, that her son had been burned alive in his tractor trailer, and was wondering if there was anything that I could do to help her.
The accident occurred along Interstate 75 at its lowest point in the valley, about a half mile from where the interstate crosses the Hiwassee River. Because of its location,
Well. Senior Trooper Matthew, I knew I could smell bacon. You know how much I hate cops. We're not too fond of street gang hoodlums either, Big Baby. Street gangs? That's old news, man. Ash and I hung up our bandanas years ago. We're video game stars now. See, I'm kind of good with computers, so I programmed a game about the gangs, and it's a mega hit. So Ash and I split the profits. So that explains the video game, but not Ash's murder. What? Ash is dead? There's gotta be a mistake. There ain't nobody who dare cross Ash. Oh, he's dead alright, and you're telling us you have nothing to do with it? Wouldn't you become the Vipers leader with Ash out of the picture? I told you, man, those days are over. I was Ash's boss now. Well, you're not off the hook, Big Baby. We may need to talk to you again.
The Bowater Paper Company is located 3 miles to the east.
Looks like that's going to do.
It is the largest producer of newsprint in North America and releases large quantities of water vapor into the atmosphere.
Are the rest of the stars collected? When this is done. See y'all then. Okay, we have returned, and let's get the results of the ticket strip from Rupert. I'll get right to the point, Matthew. That blood on those tickets is a match for the victim. Which means his killer was present at that amusement establishment. So we have another crime scene on our hands. But why was the killer at the arcade? Could it have something to do with that video game, Double Vipers? Well, Matthew, I can field that question. As you might have guessed, those tickets can be exchanged for prizes. The more points a player scores in a game, the more tickets they receive. And Amir tells me this particular strip was printed from the Weirder Stuff machine, and these numbers represent the highest score in the game. So our killer slashed the victim, then casually went to play video games? That's harsh. In any case, these tickets prove your killer is an ace player of Weird Stuff. Well, it's game over for the killer, Matthew. Their high score on Weirder Stuff has given them away. Good idea. If the killer went from Bronson Lane to the arcade, we can backtrack their steps. Let's return to the murder scene.
Mako, America's Body Shop.
kidney donation is more than
yeah.
and it really is. Well, I hope it is. Because when you get
Okay.
There's no negotiation.
Let me go.
Number 3 in his jacket.
Literally the fashion place. New Instant, CBS Sunday.
The trophy is ready for presentation to one of these 3 players who now get to deal with classic literary characters. Here is your clip. He declares that is a medieval legend known as Amadis of Gaul. 30 seconds.
With a non-drowsy antihistamine plus a strong decongestant and grapefruit fast. Get back to the moment with a Loratin. There are those who take the order further to prevent this.
Oh, Scooter's a clue also. What a shocker. Sorry guys, I had to cut out a little bit. That's okay, you saw all the clues. But I got the first star.
Hola, amigos. For the first time ever, Cholula hot sauce is teaming up with Jack in the Box. America's favorite with sauce there.
Yeah, me too. So I never could understand why the bakers, yeah, about it. Like when we're sitting, lunchtime, just sitting around the table and talking, because I just remember at the time when
Sharp eyes, Matthew. Someone's written Ash's name on that newspaper. I imagine there's more written underneath that green powder. Let's gather it up. But why do you think this scooter belongs to our victim, Matthew? Oh, right. It has one of those vanity plates where you use numbers as letters. Let's see, 5 must be S and 3 would be E. That makes it Ash Rules. I assumed Ash would be the motorcycle type. Anyway, let's unlock that scooter storage compartment and search his belongings.
Voters helping residents on flood damage coordinate are doing so as customers on their own will.
Oh, there. Hold on just a sec, folks. Okay, there we go. I think that's a little better.
And police are asking anyone who witnessed it to go
She was hospitalized for at least a week after the crash. Along with her father, who was driving the vehicle. Police did not believe speed of alcohol.
5. Ooh. The message on that newspaper reads, Ash, if this was you, I swear I'll skin you alive. What's that article about? Oh, it says someone hijacked an armored vehicle. I'm not the only one skeptical about Ash's change of heart. Someone thought he might have been responsible for this. Good idea, Matthew. That green powder you collected from the newspaper might give us some answers. Let's put it under the microscope.
2 Hawaii politicians are working with Facebook and law enforcement after postings were made on fake accounts in their name. Last night, Honolulu Mayor Clerk Caldwell found out someone posing as him is soliciting money, supposedly on behalf of the city. And State Senator Rosalind Baker says her photo on a fake Facebook account in her name endorses a get-rich-quick scam. Those kind of
things finally starting to work a little bit better. Right, and see what's in. You can see as you take a cameras here on King Street Cam right now showing plenty of blue skies. We'll continue to see those blue skies as we head into the night. 81 degrees right now. Let's take a look at those current conditions. And we're in the 60s here at
Metal polish. That green powder you collected from the newspaper is gun polish residue, Matthew. I should have known. It's standard Grimsboro Police Department issue. So that threat to Ash was left on the newspaper by a policeman, along with their gun polish. Wait a minute. You don't think this message was written by Officer Cooper, do you? There's no point speculating. Let's ask Officer Cooper himself.
A couple of light showers for the South Shore. We've had some light rain for the North Shore. Last night overnight, around 2:30. It's the best of both worlds.
You're just in time, Senior Trooper Matthew. I'm going off duty, heading to the arcade to beat my Weirder Stuff score. It's sort of a guilty pleasure of mine. Before you clock out, we wanted to ask you about this newspaper article. Did you suspect Ash Bison of hijacking that truck? Yes, I wrote that. That robbery had Ash Bison written all over it. I nearly spilled my turmeric spiced latte when I read that story. That heist is exactly the kind of stunt Ash would pull. He was always up to something, but I could never prove anything. No wonder I can't sleep at night. You can dress him up with microbreweries or video games, but a leopard can't change its spots, Senior Trooper Matthew. Once a gang member, always a gang member. The guy's been dogging me for years. It sort of sounds like you had it in for Ash, Officer Cooper. Are you questioning my professionalism? I'm not the criminal here. I'll find the evidence of Ash's crimes. Mark my words.
So let you be made in
You would do it.
the boss will give me everything. Oh, come on. Boss, what's up? And your Elon Theater is up and running, and it continues to boss.
The theme this year, Dino Day. Students spend all year crafting, creating, and planning the event. There's rides scattered around campus, food booths, a duck tank, and tons of games.
We have almost last year, the water rage, the air ball.
This man will get the name of Junior Clay.
Alright.
I talked to them, they denied Julie ever had any improper dealings with
4, 5, 4, 5, 4.
Susan.
5, 6, 5. What the heck is a cremation urn doing in Ash's scooter? Do you think there's actual human ashes inside it, Matthew? Oh, I didn't see that engraving. Ash to ashes, dust to dust. That play on words to the victim's name is a definite threat. We should probably open this urn up, but how about we let Ripper take care of that instead, Matthew? Good idea.
Did she ever mention that she might have a problem with somebody's
12 hours, and I'll see you guys. Maybe I'll speed this up, but we'll see what happens. But for now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright, folks, we have returned. Let's get the results of the cremation urn.
We've got 5 minutes. All ears. My client's running late.
You can relax, Matthew. There weren't any human ashes inside of that cremation urn, which is rather a letdown. I was relishing the challenge of a posthumous analysis. We're sorry to disappoint, Rupert. So the urn was empty? No, inside was a grain-like substance, brown in color. The residue turned out to be yeast, but with traces of green tea. For that I have no explanation. Yeast residue with traces of green tea? Where have you heard that before? Of course, Matthew. That's a special blend of yeast Troy Cassidy uses at his microbrewery. Troy claimed he and Ash had buried the hatchet, but this threat says otherwise. It's time for another word with the former gang leader.
That wasn't my call. Claire lied to us. I can't ignore that. I don't think you should either.
Keep bugs in time.
Why, do you know where she is?
I'm guessing the Skank Hotel in Midtown she likes.
Senior Trooper Matthew, could we make this quick? I'm closing up early after everything that's happened. I'm gonna go clear my head playing a little weirder stuff. You're not going anywhere until you explain this cremation urn you gave to Ash. You said you guys were friends. We were friends, but Ash betrayed my trust. He hooked me up with a new supplier, selling everything from malt to the turmeric for my spiced latte, all at really good prices. It didn't take me long to realize the goods were stolen. So Ash was still getting his hands dirty, and in return you threatened to kill him? Man, do you know how many sleepless nights I spent worrying the police would trace the stolen goods back to me? He deserves a warning. A warning, maybe, but if it turns out you made good on your threat and eliminated your former rival once and for all, your legitimate business days are finished. Grimsboro's gang war might have ended years ago, Matthew, but apparently Ash wouldn't let go of the past. Sure, he and his former cohort, Big Baby, had apparently gone straight with that video game of theirs. But Troy, Ash's former rival, was angry his so-called friend was putting his business at risk, selling him stolen goods. I guess Officer Cooper is right. A leopard really can't change its spots. Matthew, you have to get back to the microbrewery now. What is it, Gloria? What's going on? It's Ash's girlfriend. She and Troy are about to have a fist fight.
Ever needed more capacity, more features, and more for your $100.
I'll see you guys for Chapter 3. We'll see you then. And we're back. Let's start Chapter 3 of Byte to Dust. Grimsboro's gang war might have ended years ago, Matthew, but apparently Ash wouldn't let go of the past. I guess the leopard really can't change spots. Matthew, you have to get over to the microbrewery. The victim's girlfriend and Troy Cassidy are about to have a fight. Just what we need. We better go break this up, Matthew.
Comfort can be your kids' discomfort. Osteo-MyFlex made the move. You is why you can see. You know.
Admit it, Cassidy. You murdered Ash. You've always had it in for him. You and the rest of the skulls. You're crazy, Joy. Ash was my friend. You were never his friend. Nobody saw Ash like I did. Alright, everyone, calm down. If I hear another word out of either of you, you'll both be in holding cells. Go ahead and lock this goon up now, Senior Trooper Matthew. I know he's guilty. That's enough. Everyone move along and let us get on with our investigation. The last thing we need are public disturbances, Matthew. There's a murderer out there and we need to find him. With that in mind, we should get back to work. Let's go inside and have another look around the microbrewery.
Is that what happened with the first baby? Was her lack of patience the issue? What happened the night you died?
Nothing. Went to sleep as usual. The night Jan Anthony was in Grace's room. When I got there, he was already blue.
Why did you ship on it?
Well, Grace was a young mother. She didn't know anything. It stands to reason I would help her with the baby.
Yes, but the baby was 2 months old when it died.
He was calling all the time. Nothing worked. We spent our nights walking her.
We were told that your daughter can't stand her. That makes her crazy.
Excuse me. How is this going to help Claire?
Man, no. Granddaughter, she's going to prison.
Why? She didn't do it. You have to be able.
Envelope.
All the jury has to hear is that Claire is violent and she's doing
5 seconds immediately. Well, that looks like a certificate.
Things just cold. Water can't find it. Enough evidence, we're gonna need a confession. Like Rose is ready for that, so.
The purpose of this little gathering is a digging expedition. We can stop right here.
It's a separate issue. We are within our rights to interrogate a homicide suspect.
This open envelope you picked up has a set of Ash's keys in it, Matthew, and I think something's written on the envelope. I'll grab your Justin kit. And that surveillance camera could be just the clue we're looking for. If you can crack that password, we may find some useful footage. As for that torn paper, it might just be garbage, but it can't hurt to check. We must follow any lead if we're going to catch our killer.
Just take out my son like that?
I need a court order or permission from a family member.
I'm going to go ahead and do everything right now. CMQ 286 7R8. Got the 9 in time.
Should have done it long ago.
Alright, Matthew, let's have Kathy look at this footage to see if it recorded anything important.
Was a lousy husband and horrible father. I don't know why he never kept in touch with you. Maybe he saw something ugly in you. Something I couldn't face until now.
No, that's not true. He loved me. It was your fault. You kept him from me. You're just bitter because he dumped you.
Grace, I'm tired of the guilt. I'm tired of cleaning up your mess. I'm tired of you. You suck the life out of everything you touch.
You won't get Claire. What the hell's so special about her?
Just the Claire. Thought she was your second chance to get it right.
So you're still screwed up. It's not me, it's you.
Yeah, I knew you killed him. The only reason Claire's alive is that I took her from you. Wish I could have done the same.
Caitlin Flynn.
Never should have covered you. Are you kidding?
Well, I'll be, Matthew. This is a birth certificate, and Ash is listed as the father. It says here the child's name is Caitlin Flynn. That's the girl who works at the video arcade. She's the victim's daughter? She said she never heard of the victim. Why would she lie about that? We should speak with Miss Flynn again, Matthew, and find out what's going on. See if she has to say no. Just one sec, Senior Trooper Matthew. I'm recalibrating the weirder stuff machine. With all the time I spent on this game, I'm getting pretty good. I'm afraid this is rather important, Miss Flynn. Why didn't you tell us that Ash Bison is your father? So you figured that out, did you? Wonderful. Yeah, Ash Bison was my father, but he wanted nothing to do with me, so I didn't see the point in explaining everything. Ash walked out on my mother when I was a baby, so I never knew him. But when Mom died last year, I decided to find my father. But when I told Ash, he didn't want me to be a part of his new life. And now that he was rich, he said I was only after his money. All I wanted to know was my father, but now he's gone too, and I'm all alone in the world.
Last excuse for that one. Gotta get high and remember what your sister looked like.
Thank you. I can tell you don't like to be touched.
Wait, did I, skip one? No, I guess I didn't. Here are your spare keys, Ash. Work through. This message is pretty harsh, Matthew. Here are your spare keys, Ash. Work through. That's obviously from Ash's girlfriend, Joyce Schneider, and it seems she was walking out on the victim. So much for Ash and Joy forever, Matthew. Let's find out why Miss Schneider wanted to break up.
Looking for somebody?
Officer downstairs said somebody in special victims could help me.
Who's catching? Yo, what did me? Call you back. I'm Detective State.
Rebecca Tolliver. Is there some place where we can speak photos?
I'm sorry for making a scene earlier, Senior Trooper Matthew, but Cassidy and Ash were enemies for years. I know he's guilty. Apparently Troy's not the only one you're angry with. Were you breaking up with Ash? I wasn't really going to leave him. I just wanted Ash to grow the hell up. You see, I never planned on falling for a gang member, so I was relieved when Big Baby came up with the idea for Double Vipers. After all, I'm pretty good at video games. I'm an expert at weirder stuff, so I knew they were onto something. Sure enough, before long we were rich. We could buy nice clothes, drive fancy cars. I started to drink those expensive turmeric spice lattes. But Ash kept making trouble, taking things that didn't belong to him, roughing people up. I was so worried he'd do something stupid. I often couldn't sleep at night. Then I asked myself why I was putting up with it. He was the one who needed to change, so I gave him a choice, a life of crime or a life with me.
It's Macy's Furniture, Mattress, and Rug Sale with our lowest prices of the season. Get the Jolene sectional for $989.
So we're going to find out if Joy is really the killer, because let's take a look. She's possible. Jim Cooper is possible. Big Baby is not, and neither is Caitlin Flynn. But Troy Cassidy also is. So it's between these three. We'll see who it is as you get deeper into the case. See y'all then. See y'all. Alright folks, we have returned. Let's get the results of the security camera from Kathy. I never had the pleasure of meeting Ash Bison, Matthew. And judging from the security footage, that's probably a good thing. There's footage of the victim on that camera? There sure is. You better look for yourself.
I'm sorry, I can't.
This woman was raped. She was stabbed 38 times. You want to help us in our investigation?
Listen, BB, we're making a lot of cash from Double Vipers, but we should be making more. Let's raise the price to $2 a game. Nah, man, that's too much. The kids will stop playing.
Why would we kill the woman who was helping us?
That wasn't a suggestion. Just change the price. Are you serious? I don't take orders from you anymore, Ash. Don't forget I invented that game. I'm the one who owns it. And don't you forget who you're talking to, Big Baby. I'm the one who owns you. You swore an oath to the Vipers. You're still harping on about the Vipers? That's ancient history. I don't owe you nothing. This isn't over, BB. You hear me? This isn't over.
I did 5 years inside, and now my wife's dead. I paid the price. Go bother somebody else. I don't bother you. You got an awful lot of hate for me.
Never mind a gang war with the Skulls, Matthew. The Double Vipers are fighting a battle of their own. Big Baby forgot to tell us about his dispute with the victim. Let's go refresh his memory.
No lunch break. That's all I'm saying.
see you back at the house. Lunch says the husband all my checks out.
This membership list is getting smaller. These people either died too easy to get out of bed.
Maybe we're going down the wrong path with this pot club.
No, I just can't buy.
Back again, Senior Trooper Matthew? Nobody can get enough.
Susan Strikers never thought she was a drug dealer.
Enough of Big Baby.
Or somebody else thought so too.
You won't be so happy once you find out why we're here. You didn't tell us you and your business partner argued about your game.
Hey, am I gonna want to stop eating before I hear this?
How did you find out about that?
Cheese, kernels, corn, and raisins.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. So we fought about the game. People argue in business all the time.
My daughter's in 6th grade. She had that exact meal for lunch.
But not all of them wind up murdered. We saw how angry you were refusing to take Ash's orders.
Every middle school in Manhattan.
And you also saw Ash getting all up in my face, playing the gang leader card. Once Double Vipers was released, he wanted to control everything.
We're looking for a kid.
But the game was my invention. I'm the one who was up every night coding Double Vipers. At least there's one bright side to insomnia. Ash could never accept that the Vipers are done. I didn't owe him anything. Well, Big Baby, let's hope you didn't take care of business by taking care of Ash. He doesn't appear to be the one. Murder cases are fickle beasts, Matthew. Sometimes it's a struggle to find anyone with a motive. While other times, like today, every suspect had reason to want Ash Bison dead. Ash's girlfriend was tired of his criminal ways, threatening to leave him. While tensions between Ash and his business partner were coming to a head. Then there's Caitlin Flynn, the victim's long-lost daughter. Ash claims she was only interested in his money. The question is, which one of them was pushed to the point of murder? Let's make one more sweep of the video arcade, Matthew. The final piece of this puzzle could be there.
Includes a good hearty breakfast. You need something to kind of warm the whole body up and get it going. It's a great way to kick off your day.
Okay, hold on, folks. Oops.
He used to be a student. About a couple days ago, said something about how they were going to be squeezed for money and that they didn't leave him alone, he'd kill him.
Well, all right, I'll tell the police, but it would be much easier if we could at least talk about this in person.
Yeah, okay. Got a pen?
No, but, go ahead.
A little park, West 6th Street. Go 2 blocks past where Grayson turns into Right, I'll be there tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Don't tell anybody, okay? I'll be nobody.
I've got it down. I'll see you tomorrow, Michael.
Oh.
I think so, but
Candy jar.
Decide for yourself. I didn't drag you out of
You can use that phone in there if you want. Just punch 9.
Oh, what have you got?
Please.
There we go.
Best price. So I've been digging around, and all these computers are stolen. See if you can check the ID numbers for yourself.
What exactly was your arrangement with Mr. Rosari?
Every month,
There we go.
give him money to compute, and he could keep what he didn't spend.
Looks like
as
I'm gonna
discretion.
go up at least one more spot.
Buying pot means he'd be paying less than he would on the open market and be a bigger profit for him. Helen was a straight up. Well, I guess he found out what was going on, and decided to fire one. Can I have these?
The 20th.
Thanks.
Matthew, this is a vintage Jeanette razor box. It must be the case for the murder weapon.
Oh yeah, just a professional disagreement.
Obviously, this box was discarded by the killer. Let's hope a sample of that clear liquid will lead us right to them. Oh, that's one of those candy jars where people have to guess the number of sweets. I say 811. Of course that's not why you picked up that jar, Matthew. It's part of our investigation. Let's search through it. Let's rush that sample of clear liquid you collected from that razor case to the lab, Matthew. Fingers crossed it tells us something about our killer.
Try Mucinex. The biolayer tablet immediately releases to thin and loosen excess mucus and lasts for 12 hours. Mucinex 12 Hour. Introducing the Upwalker, the ingenious 21st century alternative to old-fashioned walkers and canes.
That one.
The Upwalker is a safer, more secure way to get you up and on your feet again.
You walk totally upright. You don't walk with lift over the shoulders. You wore a rip, low punch on my back, my knees, and my ankles. Do all that thing so Ricky will get. The Upwalker is revolutionary. It walks the patient in a hunched over position. Whereas when you have the Upwalker, you're able to walk upright because your balance is there.
The Upwalker
Gold object.
So there's less risk of falling.
So was I right, Matthew? Were there 811 candies in that jar? Nah, of course I know you weren't counting, but you found some strange golden objects at the bottom of those sweets. Let's have Rupert run an analysis on that blood. Maybe he can tell us what this metal thing is.
But now with the Upwalker, it gives me the freedom to do what I want to do.
Byte and features proven.
Okay, folks, we have returned. Let's get the results of the clear liquids. I understand you collected the sample from a vintage Jeanette box, Matthew. I think I might get Jasper one for his birthday. Well, I think we'd like to get the results of your analysis, Amir. You're right. I should think about presents later. So about that clear liquid. My analysis confirms it to be sweat. Now, given the razor case belonged to the killer, the residue can only have been left behind by them. I identified a number of key genetic markers from the sample, the most interesting of which is this. The killer has green eyes. Nice work, Matthew. It won't be long before you look into the killer's green eyes and arrest them for murder.
They sound boring. Sounds like you're on the fence. Why don't I just leave you my resume? Yes, it's laminated. No, thanks.
Or try caramel M&M's.
Anna and Mark are heading into retirement, and a little nervous. But not so much
I won't delay in giving you the results of my analysis of that metal object, Matthew. I wouldn't want to keep you in suspense. I get the feeling you're making a joke, but I'm not getting it. Well, I've not told you the results yet. This metal object is a class for a pair of suspenders. Get it? Suspense? Suspenders. Hilarious. But we're kind of in a hurry, Rupert. Very well. The crux of the matter is the blood on the clasp is a match with the victim, meaning those suspenders can only have been worn by your killer. So Ash Bison's killer is wearing suspenders. Brace yourself, Matthew. We're about to arrest him for murder. Alright, Matthew, Ash Bison's killer has played us long enough. Grab the handcuffs, it's game over for them.
Fits your budget. TripAdvisor now searches over 200 sites to find you the hotel you want at the lowest price. Grazie, Gino. Find a price that fits. TripAdvisor.
Every day, some murder cases something special.
No one does it right.
It's good. Something special every day.
Definitely not. It's definitely not Tim Cooper. Wait. No, it's not Troy Cassidy. It's not Caitlin Flynn. It's not Big Baby. So it has to be Joyce Schneider. Joyce Schneider, you're under arrest for your boyfriend's murder. What? Why would I murder my dear Ash? I might have been angry with him, but I wouldn't kill him. Then how come we found traces of your turmeric spice latte on his shirt? Even if that was mine, I could have spilled that on Ash any time. I did live with him, you know. But that doesn't explain how Ash's blood was on those tickets you won, or on your suspender clasps that we found at the arcade. It wasn't me, I swear. It was Cassidy. He's the guilty one. Or that hoodlum Big Baby. The game is up, Miss Schneider. Your sleeping medication was on the murder weapon, the razor you slashed your boyfriend with. Fine, I admit it. I did murder Ash, but he deserved it. That lowlife was cheating on me. Cheating on you? Yes. At first it was just mysterious phone calls, but before long he was texting the young floozy all the time. So one day I followed him to the arcade when he was there promoting his game, but he was really meeting his mistress. She works there. Ash's mistress works at the arcade? Wait a minute, you think Ash is having an affair with Caitlin Flynn? Caitlin? That's the one! That harlot? Ash wasn't in a relationship with Caitlin. She's his daughter! What? His daughter? But... Oh boy. Ash never said anything about having a child. This is impossible. I'm afraid it is, Miss Schneider. Caitlin Flynn wasn't Ash's mistress. She was the daughter he'd abandoned long ago. Oh my god, Ash, why didn't you tell me? What have I done? What you've done is land yourself in a world of trouble, Miss Schneider. You're under arrest for murder. Joyce Schneider, you stand accused of the murder of your partner, Ash Bison. How do you plead? Guilty, Your Honor. I killed him, but it was a terrible mistake. I thought my boyfriend was cheating on me. If Ash had told me the truth happened. I'm familiar with the circumstances of this case, Miss Schneider. Your mistrustful actions have had devastating consequences, not only for yourself, but for others. Given the ramifications of your crime, I'm sentencing you to 20 years in prison for the murder of Ash Bison. Ash and I were soulmates. We were supposed to be together forever. Matthew, it's bad enough that Joyce Schneider resorted to murder just because she suspected Ash of cheating. But what makes it all the more tragic is the so-called mistress was his long-lost daughter, who merely wanted to restore a broken relationship with their father. If they'd just been honest with each other, maybe this could have been prevented. Nevertheless, although Ash Bison's murder had nothing to do with his life as a gang leader, it all seems a bit too convenient for me, Matthew. 3 former gang members are involved in a murder case right after we discover Tony Marconi is out of prison, operating a legitimate business. If you ask me, something's up, and I intend to find out what it is.
big enough for multiple
Just give it. You have evidence to put more than 3 lifetimes. Too bad we can't use them. I avoid Burling's arrest and full prosecution.
No green eyes for Troy. For Troy Cassidy. Caitlin Flynn cleared from the start, as was Big Baby. Tim Cooper, no suspenders. It was Joy Schneider instead. I will see you guys for Is This Just Fantasy 2-6. And we're back. Let's start Is This Just Fantasy 2-6. And let's not, if you ask me, this has organized crime written all over it. And let's not forget that despite her amnesia, Zoe somehow recognizes Marconi. He must have something to do with her disappearance. While I'm concerned about your objectivity, Jones, I agree this warrants investigation. That officer, Tim Cooper, kept a close eye on Ash Bison's activities. Maybe he can shed some light on the matter. You're right, Chief. Officer Cooper does keep his ears to the ground. If anything suspicious has been going on, he should know about it. Matthew, I've got $1 million idea, literally, that I'd like to run by you. Alex, it's been a while. You're not looking after baby Sammy today. Nah, he's staying with his grandparents, which is giving me free time to play that video game Big Baby developed, Double Vipers. It's pretty addictive. Anyway, I think it would be an even bigger success if it was released as an app, so I figured we should convince Big Baby and I could help him code it. I don't know, Alex. We're about to conduct an important investigation. As soon as Matthew is available, you can speak with Big Baby. Meanwhile, Matthew, let's find out what Officer Cooper knows about possible gang activity.
Can you stay with his father until you get back on your feet? I don't really know who he is. He doesn't show his face in his colors.
Congratulations on solving your case, Senior Trooper Matthew. After everything he was involved in, who would have thought Ash should be murdered by his own girlfriend? Well, Officer Cooper, our investigations raised some other questions. The Vipers and the Skulls used to be a menace, as you know. And although the gang war is over, I find it suspicious that 3 former gang members were connected to our case. I couldn't agree more, Senior Trooper Matthew, and you've come to the right place. I keep extensive records of all the former gang members' activities. I'd have to consult my notes right... Ah, darn it! I've misplaced my notebook. I must have dropped it when I was patrolling Bronson Lane. Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it, Officer Cooper. We'll find it, won't we, Senior Trooper Matthew?
Do you know where she went?
Yes, we will find it. Okay.
You should turn around and give this to you. Then you would hear tell her. You should stop. How would she leave me here?
Hopefully that will result in
That's gonna be okay.
It's not.
it's already 4 p.m. in Hawaii. Cooper's notes, but it's all faded. And the perfume, boom, 14 seconds ago. No help. I didn't get any help with when I was working on the last star anyway. This must be Officer Cooper's notes. Notebook, Matthew. The pages are tarnished from lying on the street. Let's give them a good dusting.
New York City.
The dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are misdemeanors.
I'm not a very good drinker. Tolerance before I went to the bathroom and asked him what they had. Then he pushed me into the corner and put his hand up my skirt. I had nothing on the side. He held me down. I must have passed out because when I woke up, my panties were missing and he's taking pictures of me with his cell phone. I don't know how to really for some stranger is that I know that I was raped. All we could do is sleep. If only I hadn't done that night. If only I'd done something different. To share your stories.
There we go.
Because what happened to
Only
them
one,
could
though.
happen to you.
Basically because of the slow computer. Alright, Matthew, let's... these notes are written in shorthand, and Officer Cooper wasn't exaggerating. There's a lot of information here. Let's have Gabriel, our resident shorthand expert, narrow things down and see if there's anything relevant in these notes.
How victims come about kind of cases that was committed by violence. Our next guest speaker is Detective Elliot Taylor from NYPD Special Victims Unit 5 memberships.
Get money back. Hilarious. We're playing for your rewards. Switching off.
Excuse me, Mr. Baby. Come on, little man, spit it out. Just call me BB. All my friends do. Excuse me. Alright, BB. I wanted to share an idea I had about your game, Double Vipers. I've been playing it a lot and it's really cool. But I think it would be a worldwide hit if it was launched as an app. I can help you code it. I don't know. I created the game specifically for the arcade. That's where I hung out as a kid, you know. I understand that. And you can still keep the machines. But if I could analyze your code, we could develop a downloadable version. You'd make millions. Millions? Well, now you're talking. I'm all about big, baby. I'm all about big, baby. Just as long as it's not VR. Those guys at Dreamlife are jerks. They laughed at me saying a hoodlum could never be a coder. No, nothing to do with VR. It would be an app users could play on their phones. Well, go ahead and work your magic, my micro friend. I keep my code locked up here at the arcade. Alright, Matthews, we're doing this. Let's get to work.
I struggle with bipolar depression. It leaves me feeling sad and empty. It makes it hard to be there for people I love. So I talked to my doctor, and she prescribed Virginia.
Virginia is FDA approved to treat bipolar depression and different type of depression. In clinical studies, Virginia has proven effective for many people's bipolar depression. Virginia is call your doctor about unusual mood changes, behaviors, or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase needs in children, teens, and young adults. Elderly dementia patients on Virginia have an increased risk of death or stroke. Call your doctor about depressives and confusion, as these may be life-threatening, or uncontrollable behaviors, as these may be all the serious side effects. To learn more, go to Latuda.com or talk to your doctor.
Being the people I love, I guess we're part of life's little one.
Talk to your doctor at Latuda and visit Latuda.com.
There we go. Source sign. Balloon. Coins. There's the bill for safe. 3D glasses and finally the hat. 14 seconds. And no help, unfortunately.
I went to a party
Don't you just love arcades, Matthew? The neon lights, the blinging sounds, even the sticky floors are part of the charm. I know we're here to work, not play. That wall safe must be where Big Baby keeps his code. Let's open it up.
My shoes in the bed. I remember thinking he's so nice.
Then she asked me if I'm seeing him.
We had
Okay. You didn't do anything other than... Because I did have to stop early because I was up to nearly 10 minutes. 6, 9, 9, 6, 6. Okay. 3, 6, 3, 9. Ah! 3, 6, 3, 9, 6. There we go. 9, 3, 8, 6, and 8. There we go.
One sheet. No notes, no statements to even think about.
There is the code. You found Big Baby's laptop, Matthew. His source code must be on there. A few hours sifting through those files is all I need to determine how the game can be adapted into an app.
Tell him to make a decision that is right for them.
The pressure again, women, not to go to the
6 hours. And I'll see you guys when this and the other one is finished. See y'all then. Oh, hi! We're back now, and let's get the results of Big Baby's laptop from Alex. Matthew, I've been like a kid in a candy store, going over Big Baby's files. Playing Double Vipers is one thing, but looking at the source code is pure joy. The good news is that Big Baby's a talented developer. His code is well structured and bug-free. I'll have no problem working with him to port Double Vipers. The game's source code is written in the D++ programming language. All I need to do is translate the code to Objective-D, the language used for mobile apps. Once it's programmed and tested, it can be released worldwide. Now all that's left is to explain all of this to Big Baby. Let's go, Matthew.
With the shooting in Kalihi last Wednesday, Honolulu police say he is being held on $250,000 bail and is expected to appear in court tomorrow morning. Police say he shot at a 19-year-old man multiple times on Kalihi Street near Umalu Street. The victim was treated and taken to the hospital in serious condition. Hawaii Army National Guard soldiers bid aloha to their families on Friday. They are headed to Afghanistan to support U.S. Army aviation missions. A special deployment ceremony at Hawaii gave them a chance to talk.
Hey, little man, I see you found my laptop. So what's the 411? The 411? Ah, right. What have we found? Well, your code's very impressive. I'm happy to say porting Double Vipers for a worldwide release won't be hard. It's simply a matter of adapting the code to suit the proper specifications. We can get started whenever you're ready. Right on, man. And thanks for your help, Senior Trooper Matthew. You cops aren't that bad after all. And don't let it be said Big Baby is a cheapskate. Have an advanced share of my profits.
Thousands were out walking in Waikiki today to show support for HIV or AIDS. 27th annual Honolulu AIDS Walk took place here at Atlantic Park this morning.
And let's go ahead and speed this up.
That supports outreach services at the Life Foundation. And this year, the nonprofit dedicated to stopping the...
It's a good thing these notes are written in shorthand, Matthew. They're quite extensive. Officer Cooper goes into the minutest detail in his reports. Dates, times, names, locations, it's all here. Is there anything in there supporting my suspicions about the gangs? Or better yet, Tony Marconi? In fact, there is. According to Officer Cooper, Marconi's been regularly meeting with Troy Cassidy. Apparently, the two of them have been meeting once a week, every Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. like clockwork. I told you, Matthew. I knew Marconi was up to something. Let's return Officer Cooper's notebook and find out what he knows about these meetings.
National Distinguished Principal. She will join the National Association of Elementary School Principal Awardees from the other 49 states in Washington, D.C. in October.
Thank goodness you found my notebook, Senior Trooper Matthew. All of my work is in there. We wanted to ask you about your observations, namely Tony Marconi's regular meetings with Troy Cassidy. Ah yes, Marconi. I was shocked when I first saw him strolling in Bronson Lane. I didn't know he'd been released from jail. He came back the following week, and then the one after that. It didn't take long to see the pattern. Every week, Marconi would go inside the Skulls microbrewery. It piqued my interest, so I followed him inside. Marconi would go up to the bar, and the owner, Troy Cassidy, would slip him a coaster. A coaster? Nothing else changed hands? Negative. And I never got close enough to hear what they were saying. Just what I suspected, Matthew. Marconi is up to his old tricks, in league with the gangs. Whatever it is they're up to, they won't tell us about it, but we're sure to find something in the microbrewery. But let's stop for a snack at the food trucks on the corner.
I have to say, girl, what are you going to owe me if I win?
Lunch.
Okay, we're on. Oh, baby, you tell me it's going to be goody tomorrow.
That's right. Hold on to your hair. The wind's going to be out for Monday. But it'll be all right. Coming up your island weather forecast, I'll tell you what you will see your rainbow. And before we go, we want to take you over to the Big Island. Donna Carey taking us to Kilauea Caldera. You can see the lava lake near the surface. Take you back, show you time-lapse video of the activity at Kilauea Caldera throughout the day.
Oh no. Hold on, folks.
And sports time now. Andrew Martin is here, and you were saying that the English men's volleyball team was waiting for some big news this morning.
Bar tray.
Becca's smile is getting a lot of attention. That's because she wants to begin protection with Active Wash. Washes breath and strengthens enamel, protects teeth from harmful acids, and helps protect your smile every day. Go beyond brushing with Active. Indoor and outdoor allergies to allergy symptoms for 24 hours a day. Get back to normal with a letter.
All these people are hardworking and humble.
No luck.
David League's leadership is a reflection of us.
Troy's nowhere in sight, Matthew, which is good. If we're going to find evidence he and Marconi are colluding, it's best he doesn't know we're here. Officer Cooper said they would make an exchange at the bar. So that tray is worth looking through. Let's do this.
Which makes college affordable for everyone.
David League does the right thing with the right reasons.
When you grow up in a big family, struggling to make ends meet, you really understand that it's unacceptable that you work at full-time jobs, leaving before
Aha! Alan Foreman, Bob Stevens, Keith Vaughn. You found a coaster on that tray, Matthew. Exactly what Officer Cooper said Troy gave to Marconi. That's weird. There's just a list of names written on that coaster. Wait a minute. I know those names. They're all former members of the Skulls. So I guess Troy isn't so squeaky clean after all. He's clearly working with a mob boss. He and his former cohorts. I agree, Matthew. It's time Troy explained himself.
It's definitely live at Ashley Home Store Hawaii. This is home.
For your Island Idol at KITV.com. Island Idol is brought to you by Spectrum and Hawaii Haunted Aliens.
And let's confront Troy Cassidy, that we've caught him red-handed. I wanted to thank you, Senior Trooper Matthew. Although I'll miss my friend, I take comfort knowing his killer is behind bars. Can it, Cassidy? We know you're still nothing but a no-good criminal. Excuse me? I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea? Does the name Tony Marconi ring any bells? The mob boss you've been meeting with? Marconi's a mob boss? That's ridiculous. Then how do you explain slipping the names of a bunch of hoodlums to him? How many times do I have to say it? The gang war is over. Every one of those guys is on the straight and narrow. Marconi runs a security company, and he asks me for recommendations, guys he can rely on to work for him. And as far as Marconi goes, he did his time. He's a free man now, running an above-board operation, just like his nightclub. Listen, Senior Trooper Matthew, take these so you know there's no hard feelings. It's just that someone like me knows everyone deserves a second chance, even Tony Marconi. Well, I trust Marconi as far as I can throw him. We've learned all we can here, Matthew. Let's get back to the station. I suppose stranger things have happened, Matthew, but sometimes you really can't judge a book by its cover. Big Baby, a former Vipers ruffian, is now a software developer, who, thanks to you and Alex, is on his way to making a fortune with his mobile app. And then there's Troy Cassidy, the former leader of the Skulls, running a microbrewery. It's a little hard to take Cassidy's word for anything, now that we know he's been meeting with Tony Marconi. Marconi's so-called security company must have something to do with Zoe's disappearance. I understand your frustration, Jones, but for all we know, Marconi's security company and the Blue Flamingo nightclub are legitimate operations. If you want hard evidence, you're going to have to find it. Then that's exactly what I'll do, Chief. Starting at the Blue Flamingo. Are you coming, Matthew?
Game 4 in the Eastern Conference Series matchup between Boston and Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo scored 27 points today, including the go-ahead bucket. Marcus Morris missed the 14-foot jumper, and the Bucks win 104-102 to even the series. Teams are back for Boston for Game 5 on Tuesday.
Here we go. April 26th, that's another Thursday. Okay. Four new ones. Five new ones. Five new ones. Four new ones. Taking a look at the other ones.
Anything I can see? She's definitely stepping down. Elle's car is gone.
tried Catholic? She said she had this phone at the house yesterday. Elliot just doesn't walk out on a place.
Is the damn good.
But what?
The last time I saw him staring at himself, weird look on his face.
I'll call his provider and get
Okay.
them to cough up his text logs. I wrote in this code and found a lot of stuff on abduction.
And I'll see you guys on April 26th. Thank you for watching.